Good morning, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Sabina. I'm originally from Poland. Came to United States when I was about 18 years old and currently live in Florida. Today I would like to show you how I make a crumble coffee cake with plums and raspberries. I have a friend who recently had surgery and this coffee cake is her favorite. So Monica, I'm making this for you. I hope you have a fast recovery. Cheers to you. Thank you all of you who support my channel. Welcome. Before I start making the crumble cake, I would like to show you something, and this is for everybody to pay attention to the measurement. I have about 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and here I have 2 cups of the same all-purpose flour. And I would like to measure it and show you how accurate cups are versus investing in scale and measuring with scale. So 2 cups right here, and you can see 2 cups. $320, if you can see. 320 grams. So I will take this out, and now, and you can see it came back to 0. I will measure the 3 cups. And it is 325. How is that possible? Well, it's all about how we handle the flour. When I put the flour in, it will be still the same, almost 3 cups. If I shake the flour, it will be less because the flour will be more condensed. See, it's just a little over 2 cups. If I shake it more, it will almost be 2 cups. So that's why this is so much more accurate when you measure. So fluffy flour versus condensed. Just a little something to pay attention to. And for the ingredients, I need 2.5 cups of flour, which is about 320 grams, half a cup of sugar, 2 eggs, vanilla extract or vanilla sugar, baking powder, 1 stick of butter, and about 6 tablespoons more, 1 stick and 3/4. And of course plums and raspberries. And my favorite eggs to use, pasture-raised eggs versus organic. I think I do prefer those eggs versus organic eggs. Even the color of those eggs is indication they do eat grass. When I break an egg, the yolk is more orange, and when you crack an egg that's organic, the yolk is very light yellow. So that's how I know, because my family had chickens and my family had big farms, animals and all the vegetables and everything else, and the eggs were always orange. I have my flour in here, those 2 eggs, sugar, about 1 teaspoon of vanilla sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and my butter. And butter I cut up into smaller pieces so it is easier to work with. As you work with your hands, everything will start coming together. It just takes a little while. It's a good workout for your hands. I also have here sugar with orange peel shredded into it, so it will give this orangey flavor. And you can buy it at bakery any baking section of a store. Somebody who loves citrus flavor, this is really wonderful to just add that extra orangey taste to it. You can see it's coming together. Once you have one solid smooth piece, you can take it out and work with it on a board, so it's a little bit easier now. So a couple more minutes longer, and I will divide this dough into two parts. Bigger part will be for the bottom, and the smaller part will be on top of the coffee cake. And of course, in the middle, the plums with raspberries. And here you can see how smooth it is and very soft. Beautiful. So I will cut it now. The bigger half will go on the bottom again, and the small one I need to wrap it in foil and put it in the freezer. And why in the freezer? Because I will use the shredder to shred the dough on top of my coffee cake. And it's much easier to shred the dough when it's cold. Now I need to spread the dough, and of course roller is the best for that job. So it can go in a dish, and I have put a bit of coconut oil on the bottom. I love the smell of it, and it gives that, you know, extra flavor. The flavor is wonderful, so that's my favorite oil to use when I bake. I will just cut that part, and here we go. Just stretch it a little bit with your fingers so it is even. And I will use a fork to punch some holes in there so the crust is even. And now this piece will go into the oven at 355 for about 12 minutes. I will need to bake it because I have wet fruit, and fruit does have lots of juice in it. So if the juice comes out of the fruit, the bottom of the dough would be very soggy, and this is what I don't want. So preheating, pre-baking the bottom of it prevents from being soggy. I washed the plums and I cut them into smaller pieces, and I did taste them just to see how much sugar I would need. I would say 1 tablespoon is enough. You will be the judge of how much sweetness do you need. Once you taste the plum, see how sweet it is. Sometimes plums are very sweet and sometimes they're sour, so it's really up to your taste buds and you to make a decision how much sugar you need. I will put just a tiny bit because those plums are pretty sweet. And raspberries have also some sweetness in those, but they will give you this sourness, and I don't even know how to describe it, but together it will create this wonderful flavor, plums with some raspberries. And the raspberries I'm using are actually frozen raspberries. So what I will do here is I would take about 1 tablespoon of potato starch and put on top of my plums. This is another way to prevent the plums from releasing too much juice into the bottom of my dough, so the dough doesn't become wet and soggy. So once my bottom is pre-baked, I will put the fruit on top, and then the other part of the dough, which is in the freezer right now. My crust is ready. It took me about 14 minutes, and you can see, well, I hope you can see, but a little bit of brownish color just on the edges, and this tells me that, you know, it's ready to put the fruit in. So plums go here, and I will take some raspberries out of my freezer and just put some raspberries in between those plums. And this is about a pound of plums. Okie dokie, I think this is enough. And now it is time to shred my dough. And now it's time for my crumble. And for my crumble, I had about 4 tablespoons of butter and 5 tablespoons of sugar and about 4-5 tablespoons of flour. You really have to work it to see how wet or gooey it is, and you will figure out exactly how much you need. Every flour is different from different company. So the measurement is close enough to get you where you need to be, but it cannot be exact, because if you use brown sugar, the texture is a little bit different. If you use white sugar, the texture is a little bit different. And like I said before, flours are not created equal. But a rule of thumb, about 4 tablespoons of butter, 5 tablespoons of sugar, and about 5 tablespoons of flour. Okay, and I will just go around and put the crumble on top. That's my children's favorite part of any cake or a butter bun I make, the crumble. If it's not the crumble, I see very disappointed faces. Mama, why didn't you do it? Okay, and now in the oven for another 40 minutes or so. When I see a brownish crust on top, that means the cake is ready. See you guys in about 40 minutes. So my friend's cake is ready, I think. Oops. Ooh. If you could smell it, it smells so good. So that was exactly 40 minutes since I put it in with all the fruit in it.